So we're going to I-5 and we're going to talk to truckers and we're going to ask them, you know, what they think about self-driving cars, what they think about self-driving trucks. I mean, I've noticed in the last few months, this car has got better and better at controlling itself on freeways, at getting on and off freeways, at, you know, following lanes, keeping safe. And I use Autopilot, which is Tesla's autonomous driving feature, all the time.
And we're seeing more and more of the media and people talking about, hey, all this automation, we should think about how it's going to impact people's jobs.
Right.
But we haven't really seen people just talking to folks that it's a job it would impact, right? So we're kind of curious, when we get truckers in here, when they're driving a self-driving car, like, that's going to probably replace their job at some point.
Right.
What do they think of that?
What do I think of it? Exactly.
All right, I'm recording. Can you, let's do a clap?
What do you want me to do?
Okay.
What do you want me to do?
Let's go talk to some more truckers. Yeah, I don't think you need the whole, like, Silicon Valley thing.
Okay.
I think it's just we're doing a short documentary about, I think you could say, like, self-driving trucks.
Self-driving trucks?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, Bert McGinnis.
Bert, nice to meet you. Yeah. Hey, where are you coming from today?
Well, I loaded up in Patterson, California.
What made you want to get into trucking?
Oh, probably when I was a kid, I wanted to be a truck driver.
Have you been in an autonomous car before?
No.
And are you interested to take a drive in a Tesla, let's say?
Sure.
Cool. Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Language.
Okay. Oh, it's got got British radio on. You're aware that there's quite a lot of torque on this car, right?
I've read that.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good.
60, 70.
60.
Yeah.
Really? Man, that is something. It takes me like 2 minutes to get up to 60 miles per hour in a truck. I've never been in a car that accelerates this fast.
But you might go for 4 hours without stopping. Just driving.
Yeah, easy.
Wow. I guess once you're on the road, it's kind
Depends on how much coffee I've had.
And from now on, the rest of our journey, we're now autonomous.
Wow. It's really something.
It's just totally changed the way I think about driving.
That's pretty cool.
Really, I think rarely technology makes you more relaxed. It's usually the other way. It makes you more agitated.
I think you're right. It stresses me out.
So what do you think?
Horrible. I'm digging it.
This is AI running, right? So there's something called deep learning, and it's actually so this kind of technology could rapidly become a lot better, right? It could become a lot smarter very fast. So it might be that it could only be 5 years before like many jobs are threatened.
Oh, yeah.
What about the younger guys? What do you think? Do you think this is like some sort of revolution?
I think they better learn how to work on it. There are going to have to be people along the road everywhere that are going to change tires, work on this, work on that, fix that, fuel it.
I mean, what if it's like literally a tenth? So rather than 2 million truckers, we're talking about 200,000 mechanics and people who are servicing vehicles. What do the other people do?
Well, there's a problem, isn't there? But new technology is going to make new jobs. I think with a lot of the technology that's coming on these days, people aren't going to have to be brainiacs. They're just going to have to learn how to deal with the technology that they're looking at. I don't have a lot of self-confidence in myself, and I never have, but I know that I could do things other than just driving a truck.
Right. Whose responsibility, or what should we do?
I think it's their responsibility to when I started driving, I did a lot of research on the longevity of a job. And then I thought, okay, well, there's food. Like I said before, food is something that we're always going to need. So I went to work for a company that hauled food. I've always hauled food. It doesn't make any difference if it's a Democrat or a Republican. People got to eat, and I haul food. Guess what happens? Bert gets to work.
So what do you think? I mean, some people are saying, in my circles, you're talking about Silicon Valley and government and things. A lot of people worry that Trump was elected because we're creating this technology and we're not thinking about jobs and the economy's changing. Do you think that's true? Or do you think there's a totally different reason why he was elected?
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it at all. We've been advancing leaps and bounds for how many different presidencies have we been leaping? Why do I think Trump was elected? Well, because people were pissed off. At least, half the nation was pissed off.
What do you think people were pissed off about?
Well, the economy wasn't doing very good. I mean, it was stagnant. 2% growth.
Yeah.
And now it's like 4%, and it should be even better than that, I think. I've never been a big regulation guy.
Right.
And regulations, I think that was the biggest problem long before Trump showed up. I mean, Republicans and Democrats both, they've regulated us to death. But I see it as neither party is this where this is supposed to go?
Do you mean, what do you mean, in road-wise, or?
No, I mean policy.
Oh no,
politics.
no. I mean, I'm British anyway, so I can abscond myself from the whole discussion. But you know, I think it's interesting.
Have problems like that too, don't you?
We have a lot of problems.
Everybody's got problems.
Yeah.
We're trying to make a living, you know, and it's hard to do when you've got government breathing down your neck.
Do you think big companies are getting too big, people are getting too rich, and the sort of the middle class or the working class are getting left behind and kind of plateauing or falling?
How else does capitalism function other than the wealthy create wealth,
right? And
they create more wealth by putting their minions to work? Well, I'm of the minion class. You know, I mean, I'm not a brainiac. I'm not struggling like some of them have to make all those millions and gazillions too. I mean, hey, Bill Gates worked out of his garage. He was a goofy kid from Seattle.
Right. It sounds like you're okay with that.
I'm okay with them making as much money as they want.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. But then, you know, there has to be some regulation too. You don't want to just...
Right, it can't be a free-for-all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't... Right. But I don't know. I'm not a politician. I'm a truck driver. You guys are the first non-truck specific people I've talked to in probably, I don't know, a year. I'll never forget this, and I'm glad I met you guys. This is cool.
There's something great about going out and talking to these people because they're just so genuine and they're so grounded in a way that we're not really in Silicon Valley. And I think that's interesting too. Now, whether
people are more real.
Right.
You know, I think, and it's funny because I think we read the news and then we see, oh, these people like voting for Trump that are listening to Fox News, like they're listening to all this bullshit.
Right.
Or what have you, and they're believing all this kind of stuff that's not true.
Right.
And then we sit in our superiority of like, this is true, and these people have voted for stuff that's not true. And yet, fundamentally, in my view, interact with 100 of these guys, interact with 100 people in Silicon Valley. 100 of these guys are way more genuine. Well, just as people, it's more grounded, right?
Right. I don't know if this is on camera, but did you notice he said, I'm surprised that you, coming from Silicon Valley, are talking about the government in such vein, talking about kind of waste and things like that as well. That was really interesting.
It's true. They don't realize that Uber and all these are fighting the government.
Fighting the government too, and there are a lot of libertarians in Silicon Valley, you know, who go the other extreme. And I think that's interesting because even though, you know, we feel like there's not much we can bring to the table, even him going away and having that conversation with someone else now, about like, yeah, I talked to this like presumably liberal guy from Britain who lives in Silicon Valley, and actually he's complaining about government too.
Right.
You know, we're not so different. Maybe.
Right.
I think that's interesting.
Although, I mean, I guess truckers are kind of the original gig economy, as it were. So that they've kind of built that into their lifestyle.
Most of them are entrepreneurs. You know, all the people who are owner-operators driving their truck, you know, across the U.S., they're entrepreneurs, right? So they're pretty thoughtful. You didn't hear this. Maybe you did hear this. I did say to him,
we're a popular YouTuber?
I am a very popular YouTuber, which may or may not be entirely true.
I heard him say that afterwards.
Yeah.
Bert, you're going to make us popular.
Bert, you are the reason. It was kind of like, I saw what was happening because of you. So, well, the fact is I do have a YouTube channel.
That's true.
I have about 2,000 followers, and it's mostly for drone videos that I make.
It's popular.
But, you know, I think maybe we should create a new YouTube channel.
I think so.
Yeah, right.